All right. Welcome to our pigtail virtual field trip today. My name is Brooke and I work with Nebraska agriculture in the classroom. And I'm really excited for all of you to be joining us today. I have Farmer Lucas with us, and he is a pig farmer here in Nebraska. And he's going to share kind of what life is like on the pig farm and how he cares and raises his animals on his farm. So, on this virtual field trip today, we'll learn a little bit about where his pigs on his farm live, what he has to do to take care of them. And we're going to kind of learn a little bit more about that in the pig habitats. But as we do that, I do have some clips that I'm going to share with you of some videos that Lucas sent me. I know internet is always a challenge when we get in those pig barns with the connectivity. And so we wanted to make sure that you guys had a good view of what the inside of those pig barns look like. But Lucas is here with us today to kind of answer some of those questions firsthand that you have. So as we go throughout our field trip today, you'll be able to come up to the camera and unmute your microphone and ask your question directly to Farmer Lucas. So Lucas, I'm going to have you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your pig farm.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a bunch, Brooke. Hi, everyone. My name is Lucas. I am 27 years old, and I'm from the eastern part of Nebraska. I grew up on a family farm, so I work with my mom and my brother, and we grow the corn and soybeans that our pigs eat. So we do everything that our pigs need, from grinding the feed to moving them around to taking them to market to bringing them in. And so it's always super great to get to talk about baby pigs with all you guys today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lucas. Lucas, can you tell us how long have you been caring for pigs on your farm?
Yeah, I've been doing it since I was a little kid. We all grew up in it, but I came back home to farm after I was done with college. I went to UNL, so I was a Husker, and that was almost 5 years ago now that I've been home full time.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to be a pig farmer? What brought you back to the farm?
I use lots of different things all the day, from math to science to communication. All those things are really important. So it's a great challenge, to always trying to figure out new things and to solve problems. And above all, we get to make great products for everybody to enjoy, like bacon and ham, and multiple other different things that come from the pig.
Wonderful. Yeah, pigs are a really important part of our daily lives. They provide us with the option of meat that we can choose to eat called pork, and then they also can give us other byproducts as well. So when a pig is born, it is called a piglet, and piglets are born in a litter. And for the first 3 weeks of the piglet's life, they drink milk about every hour. And at 3 weeks old, then when the piglets weigh about 12 to 13 pounds, they are weaned and they are moved to a nursery barn. And Lucas, is that correct? Do you have a nursery barn on your farm?
Yes, yep. The videos that I'm going to show you guys are inside of our nursery barn. And that's where we start them out, like Brooks said, from 12 to 13 pounds. And they grow all the way up to 285 pounds in about the span of 6 months.
Wow. I'm going to go ahead and share this video so we can take a look at what kind of it looks like on the inside of Lucas's barn here. So I'm going to go ahead and share this video, and I'll get my screen shared here for you as we do that. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Perfect. Okay.
Pigs come to us at about 18 to 21 days of age. They come in at about 12 to 13 pounds, and they grow up to about 70 in this shed. When they get bigger, they walk down this hallway to a barn that has more space for them, where they grow up. And then we take them to market, and they become the products that everyone likes and enjoys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lucas, for sharing a little bit about what the inside of the barn looks like. There, we're going to get a closer look. And so Lucas said he has baby pigs in a nursery, and then they move to another barn where they can be finished. And he said in that video they grow pretty quickly. So once his pigs reach about 70 pounds, they're going to move on to the next part of the barn where they can continue to grow. And Pigs grow really quickly, and it all has to do with the pig's most basic needs. So I want you to think about the basic needs that you need in order to grow big and stay healthy. Do you think pigs have the same basic needs as us as humans? Give me a thumbs up if you think they have similar basic needs, or a thumbs down if they don't. Ooh, I think I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up here. And they do have similar basic needs. We're going to learn about some of those basic needs that those pigs need. Lucas, can you share a little bit about what those basic needs may be?
Yep. Everyone, just like we do, they like fresh air, lots of clean water, and good healthy food. And all of our pigs are able to get that consistently and all the time inside of the barns that we keep them in. It keeps them safe from the bad weather, from really cold or really hot, from other predator animals, and even from sickness and disease. It's the safest place for them to grow comfortably and safely.
Wonderful. I'm going to share another video here, and we're going to take a look inside Lucas's pig barn now.
And now,
All right.
we're inside the barn with all of the pigs. Inside this barn, there are 24 pens, and each pen has 50 pigs in it. You can see that they have water and they have feed. And I'll get up a little closer so you can see that.
Wonderful. But before we take a closer look here, Lucas, can you tell us, what do you feed your pigs on your farm? Do you feed them slop and garbage?
No, nope. Our pigs are very clean animals, as are most people's pigs. They have one spot for their bathroom and one spot for eating and one spot for sleeping. So they're very controlled. And so they don't eat any garbage or any gross stuff or slop or anything like that. They have a diet of corn, soybeans, other minerals. And when they're a smaller pig, we actually give them dried milk and some sugars and some special stuff as they're coming from their mother's milk onto feed that we feed them constantly. And then they always have plenty of fresh water that they can drink and be happy with.
Wonderful. We're going to take a little look inside there, but I do have a question for you, Lucas. Do you grow crops on your farm to help feed your pigs, or where does that food come from? The corn and the soybeans that you kind of mix together?
Yep. Yep. So we grow all the corn and soybeans that our pigs need to eat on our family farm. And I know you guys probably know a little bit about reducing, reusing, and recycling. So it's the circle on our farm where we take the corn that feeds the pigs, and then we take the manure that the animals create, and we put that back on the ground. So the crops can grow up big and strong and make lots of corn to feed the pigs. So it's a one big circle all the time.
That's really cool. Farmers kind of have to be sustainable and care for the land and the environment. So that's really cool to see how you can reuse and recycle right here on your farm, raising your pigs. I'm going to share a little bit of this video here so you can kind of see what Lucas was talking about with the food and the water that he provides his pigs in his barn.
These are the waterers. To drink, they simply take their nose and press that little lever. They love to play around and run around. And right now, since they're smaller, here's their feed. Their feed is made up of corn, soybeans, other nutrients and minerals. And since they're smaller, we put in sugars and milk products so they can grow big and strong.
Very nice. So they have access to that food and that water that they need at all times. And you can kind of see in this video right here that Lucas shared with us, he has, I'm assuming, a big kind of grain bin or silo outside of his pig barn that he fills full all of the time. And then that food will move down these tubes and into the feeders to feed those pigs. And there's fresh water then that they have access to at all times as well. All right, so we learned about two of the basic needs. We said food and water. Lucas, can you tell us a little bit about the shelter that you provide and maybe some of the air and the ways you heat and cool your barn?
Yeah, it's a great question, Brooke. We like to put our pigs inside of barns so they don't have any predators and that they're always out of the elements. And so when that happens, they're able to be safe and cared for, and we can look at all of them all the time. The other thing that we do is we have heaters in there that always keep them warm in the winter. And in the summer, we have fans that suck in fresh air, and always it's like a fan blowing on you that keep them cool and comfortable.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Lucas as we're thinking? If you do have a question, if you want to come to the front of your computer screen in your classroom, I will call on you and you can come up and answer a question or ask a question to Farmer Lucas. Ooh, I see a question at Highlands Elementary. Go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask Lucas your question that you have.
What's the hardest job for the pigs?
Did you catch that, Lucas?
No, I didn't.
He said, what is the hardest part or the hardest job for the pigs?
Oh, for me or for the pigs?
For you.
Um, it's not really that bad all the time. I think the hardest thing sometimes in big snowstorms is getting to the barn. That's the hardest part. But thank goodness we have people that live next to all of our pig barns. So in case something happens, someone can be there to help.
Wonderful. Thank you. I see a question in Mrs. McConneville.
Go ahead, Harper. Can you ride the pigs?
No, I'm a little bit too tall to ride them.
Yeah.
My feet would touch the ground. They come up to about my knee.
They grow pretty quickly. You said they can grow from 2 pounds to 285 pounds in 6 months?
Like 13 pounds to 285 pounds in about 6 months.
13.
Yep.
That's they grow pretty quickly. Let's see Carriage Hill.
All right, go ahead.
So how do pigs survive in bad weather?
Because we have the barns, we're able to keep them out of the bad weather all the time. All of our barns are insulated like your house. And so we never have to worry about them ever getting really cold. And in the summer, we have nice roofs over them so they stay out of the sun. And we have the fans always bringing in fresh air and moving air so it keeps them cool in the summer.
All right, thank you. Let's take another one from Lee in your 3rd grade classroom there.
Go ahead. How many pigs do you have?
In that barn, I have 1,200 pigs.
And how recently did you get those pigs in your barn, Lucas? I know it was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yep, those pigs are about 4 weeks on our farm. And this morning, I just got another load of pigs into another barn of ours. So we're always bringing in new pigs.
Wonderful. Do we have a question in Wallace's classroom?
Yes, we do. Thank you. Aiden, why don't you go ahead?
How does the food get down to the pigs?
Yeah, so as Brooke was saying, outside I have big metal bins that have an angle. And so I fill the feed in that big metal bin. And then there's an auger at the bottom that I turn on, and it slowly augers all of the feed through those tubes and then drops it in the feeder.
How often, Lucas, do you have to fill those bins?
Every once a week I have to fill the bins, but every day and all the time the pigs have food to eat.
Wonderful. All right, let's take one more question for now, and then I have some other videos to show you of what those heating and cooling systems kind of look like in the barn. Let's see here. Is there a question in Mrs. Snyder's class? Ooh, I see a question in Hill.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you clean the pigs?
The pigs are very clean animals all the time, so I really don't ever have to clean them whatsoever. Like I said, they go to the bathroom in one area in their pen, sleep in another area, and eat in another. So they're always kind of very cautious and understanding of where they need to have their separate spaces. So when we think of pigs rolling around the mud and staying dirty, that's really not true. They like to keep themselves clean.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this video so we can see kind of what the heaters in Lucas's barn looks like and some of the fresh air that he provides for his pigs.
Inside this barn, we have heaters just like that help keep them warm when they're smaller. We also have bigger heaters like that keep it warm as well. They're constantly getting fresh air through vents in the roof that brings in fresh air all the time, just like that.
All right. Lucas, can you tell us a little bit, why is it so important to heat and cool your pig barns? Can pigs overheat?
Yeah, pigs can overheat because pigs don't have sweat glands like we do. So that's why we always try to keep constant fresh air moving over them, so they always stay cool. As well as during the winter, they stay a little bit hotter than we do. So their internal temperature is about 3 or 4 degrees hotter than what we are. So they like to stay nice and warm, especially when they're smaller.
Wonderful. So we make sure you make sure that your pigs on your pig farm have access to fresh food and water at all times, fresh air so that they have air to breathe and it's a clean environment in that pig barn. But you also want to protect your pigs from the weather, from hot weather or cool weather, and then disease and predators. So I know you keep your pigs in barns to protect them from the predators that are outside. How do you prevent them from getting disease?
We try to stay as clean as possible and we don't let other people into our barn if they have a cold or are sick. And we always try to change our clothes and shoes when we go from barn to barn so we don't spread any disease. Like when you cover your cough or you wear a mask, that's the same thing that we try to do to keep our pigs happy and healthy.
Very good. Yeah, I learned from Lucas that pigs are really susceptible to getting sick, and farmers want to ensure that they can give the best care to their pigs so that they don't get sick on their farms. And if they do, they want to be able to look at different ways of taking care of their pigs so that they can get healthy and back to growing good. All right, let's see here. Lucas, can you tell us? We talked a little bit about how you keep your pigs cool and warm. How do you protect them from predators?
Because we're able to keep them inside of a barn, we're able to keep all the other outside animals away. We don't let birds go over around them or raccoons or anything that's outside that's not a pig. So that keeps disease away as well as any harm that those animals might try to attack our pigs.
Very good. So, kind of as a quick review here, as we've been learning today, pigs have similar basic needs to us as humans. We need food, water, air, and shelter, just like our pigs. And Farmer Lucas provides that care for his pigs each and every day. So, Farmer Lucas, can you tell me what are some of your job duties on the farm?
Yeah, so from creating the pig feed to checking on them every day to making sure that all the computer systems are set correctly to control the pig barn are done right. We also try to always make sure we're keeping accurate records and making sure we're looking over all the pigs. So on any day, I wear many different hats to make sure that my pigs are happy and healthy.
Wonderful. And I know you kind of mentioned technology here, and you shared a video about kind of what it's like to use technology on your farm. So I'm going to share this one last video that I have with Lucas here so we can learn a little bit about what the technology kind of looks like on the pig farm.
We use lots of technology in our barn. We check off our chores on a digital app every single day. We also use computer systems to track their feed, water usage, air temperature, and a whole bunch of other stuff. This allows us to make sure that we're constantly paying good attention to our pigs and making sure they have everything they need.
Wonderful. Lucas, can you share with us a little bit? I know you said you have many different jobs on your farm to be able to take care of these animals. How can you tell if a pig's maybe not feeling the best on their farms? What are some of those signs, or what do you have to do?
Yeah, just like us, sometimes pigs like to isolate and they don't like to be by everybody else. They'll kind of hold their head down. And so those are some instant signs to look for. They might have a little bit of a cough. And so that's the first thing that we look for, is to make sure that they're enjoying all of their friends, and because pigs are social animals and they like to be around their other piglets, and making sure that they're not sitting in the corner holding their head down, not interacting with anybody else.
Great. So you have to be able to recognize those symptoms on the farm and how to kind of go forward and treat them if a pig would happen to get sick. Do you have to go to school to be a farmer?
No, it's I was handed down this tradition, but I was able to go to UNL and learn more skills of being an even better farmer, so I could take even better care of my animals and do a better job of taking care of our farm.
Wonderful. You said something about generation. You're kind of handed down the farm. How many generations has your family farm been around?
Our family farm, I'm the sixth generation, and I have little nieces and nephews who will be the seventh generation.
Wonderful. And I'm sure they're excited to come back and kind of play a big role in being part of that family farming operation. How did you learn? I know you kind of mentioned this a little bit ago. Can you remind us, how did you kind of learn how to take care of those pigs on your farm?
I learned from my dad, and my dad learned from my grandpa, and my grandpa learned from my great grandpa. So we all like taking care of pigs, and it's a family tradition of doing it.
Do you raise any other types of animals on your farm?
Nope, we just have pigs.
Just have pigs, and then you grow crops as well to feed your animals.
Yep, yep. We grow all the crops that we need to feed our animals.
Wonderful. Can you tell us, why do you like working so much with the pigs on your farm?
I like helping working with pigs because I get to make great products that everyone can enjoy, like bacon and ham. So when people eat that, I hope they think of me and the hard job that we do, so we can provide a great product for everyone else.
Wonderful. So, as kind of a full overview again, Lucas shared a little bit about what it was like to be on the inside of his pig barn with his daily tasks of caring for his pigs while providing them with food and water, shelter, and protecting them from the environment. Modern pig barns allow farmers to provide the best care possible for their pigs. And so that's why we see a lot of farmers raising their pigs in barns today versus being outside where they're exposed to the environment. And so farmers are ultimately the caretakers for their pigs and their environment and want to provide the best quality for their animals. Do we have any last questions from our classrooms that would like to ask? Oh, I see a question in Mrs. Hayward's classroom.
It's actually, go ahead.
Has a pig ever got lost?
Or escape.
Yeah.
Nope, nope, because they're all in the barn and they're in their pens. We never have had an escaped pig before, unless someone accidentally leaves the door open, but we've never had that.
All right, thank you. I see a question in Mrs. Anderson's classroom.
Say it again. Take your
When,
mask off.
when do you sell your pigs?
We sell them about 6 months after they come into our farm. And so about every month we sell a load of pigs to the marketplace.
Wonderful. Let's see, McConneville.
Do you make monies off of the pigs?
Yep, yep. We try to make money off of the pigs, but it's all comes down to the market and a lot of other stuff that affects us. When COVID happened, we had to slow down our pig farm because there wasn't enough workers showing up at the place that they make the pork products at. And so we had to hold our pigs back and wait. And we weren't making a lot of money then because there was too many pigs. But now there's not a lot of pigs out there. So now those pigs are worth more.
Very good. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of thinking in the way that farmers have to make big decisions on their farm and take risks every day to be able to raise their animals and provide a good quality product for them because they have to buy and sell at a commodity market. So it kind of gets kind of confusing in there, but it's kind of interesting to see how that works with the different prices in the market. Let's take a question from Mrs. Wallace's class.
How expensive?
One more time.
How expensive is it to control all? How expensive is it to control the entire barn? Control everything from the food and the warmth and the coolness.
It's not too expensive. We try to make sure that we buy our stuff early and buy it in bulk, and always kind of plan for down the road. I do a lot of math all the day, trying to figure out when to buy stuff, when not to buy stuff, and pre-booking things so we can get it at a good price. So when it does go up, we don't have to pay the high prices. So I do a lot of math in order to keep the barn running efficiently and at cost.
Wonderful. Thank you. Mrs. Price's classroom.
How many pounds of food do the pigs eat?
That's a great question. For every 2 pounds of food that the pigs eat, or sorry, for every 1 pound of food that the pig eats, they gain 2 pounds, close to that. So for 285-pound animal, will eat about 150 pounds of food.
Wow, that's quite a bit more than what we as humans would consume in that short amount of time. All right, let's take another one from Carriage Hill.
Would a pig hurt another pig?
Nope, they're really kind to each other, actually. They like to pick on each other and kind of like brothers and sisters, but they never hurt each other intentionally. Nope.
Thank you. Let's take another one from Mrs. Anderson's classroom.
Do you have to teach the pigs anything?
No. The only thing that we try to do is have the water and food really readily available so they know right where to go right away. And so they don't get lost or have to search for it. We make it easy for them to start eating and drinking as soon as they come into the barn.
Wonderful. Is there a question in Highland Elementary?
Go ahead, Isaac.
What kind of machine? What are the machines called for the pigs?
Do you have specific, like, I guess, like the technology in your barn? What
Oh,
would you
yep.
call the food bunkers or the food places?
Yeah, so the things that I first showed you where the water comes out, we call those waterers. And then the place where they eat, the feeder is what we call that, where all the feed is stored and held. Then the machine that brings all the feed in is called a feed system. And then we use feed trucks to deliver it. We have regular semis that come back up and bring the pigs to us. So those are all the kind of machines that we use inside of our farm.
Yeah, and I was wondering, Lucas, when your pigs leave your barn, do you have to specially clean your pig pens before new pigs come in?
Yep. Yep, just like everyone else's house, we clean it before someone comes in, make sure it's ready and ready to go and really nice for those new baby pigs coming in. And so they don't have to worry about any disease or anything else like that that could have been there. And they're ready and happy and healthy in that barn.
Wonderful. We're going to take a few more questions here before we wrap up. Mrs. Price's classroom.
How do you tell the gender of pigs?
Yeah, on the back part of the animal, we either look for a female part, and if it's a boy, most of our boys aren't fully intact. So we look underneath of on their belly for the boy parts, and that's how we can tell a pig apart between a male and a female pig.
Lucas, that's a great question. What do you call a mother pig?
So a mother pig is called a sow. A intact male pig is called a boar. But a boy who doesn't have all of his boy parts is called a barrow. And the girl pig that has not had piglets yet is called a gilt.
So we have different names for our pigs to be able to tell them apart. So those baby pigs are called piglets before they grow up. So that's just one way to help identify those animals on the farm. All right, let's take 3 more questions before we wrap up. Let's do one more in Mrs. Anderson's class.
Do pigs much breed?
How often do pigs breed?
How often do pigs breed?
So an animal takes 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days to grow up inside of a sow's stomach, the mom pig. And so we have to have a little bit of time to breed those pigs. So it's about every 5 months they get bred, they gestate, they farrow, and then they spend some time relaxing, and then they get rebred.
Great question. All right, let's take another question from Highland Elementary.
What happens if a pig has a piglet inside?
So they call that the process of farrowing. That's when the mother gives birth to their baby piglets. All right, one more question. Let's take it from Hayward Elementary.
Okay, that's you.
How much pigs have died in the pen?
So do you have any piglets that die while they're in the barn?
Yeah, sometimes a piglet will, and so, but it doesn't happen very often at all.
Yeah, I know Lucas, his family, their job is to make sure that these pigs have the best quality of life in these barns. They want to ensure that they have access to all of the food and the water. They can protect them from the environment inside of those barns. They can heat and cool them, give them fresh air. They have veterinarians that can come out if an animal would get sick, but their ultimate goal is to take care of those animals and provide the best quality of life, because that's Lucas's passion. He loves to raise pigs. And so he's going to do whatever he can to care for those animals so that they provide us with the option to eat that best quality pork that they can provide. All right. I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us today on our virtual field trip. I hope you learned a little bit more about the environment in which these pigs are raised in and kind of why we raise them in those barns today. And I want to say, Lucas, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy farming life to join us today. You guys all have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Lucas.